What fires the economies of the world is greed. People want far more than they require. Wanting to have money by itself is not a bad thing. If you didn't want to have money, there'd be zero motivation to go to work or to do anything. If you're completely happy, completely satisfied, there'd be zero motivation. So greed by itself is not a bad thing. Greed is what I have seen and watched an entire show about on PBS about how greed is a good thing because it makes you focused on getting those results. Right? What makes all these businessmen successful? You take the 20s when we had the great American boom, like the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts and the really wealthy people out of Newport. They had nothing to lose. All of them, at one point or the other, hit rock bottom. And their only thoughts were of making money. Right? They had an idea. Nobody's going to give you money if you just are greedy. Right? You have to offer something to someone in order to make the money. So it's not as if that you're going to wake up one day and say that I'm greedy for money, I'm going to only think about money and I'm going to get the money that I want. It doesn't happen that way. People are not fools. Right? They will not pay for something unless there's some value in it. So a great idea and a financial plan, two things, when they're put together, they end up making you more money than you can ever imagine. Now, why is it that these businessmen are successful? Because from morning to night, they think of nothing else. That's the only occupying thought. Today I started watching The Wolf of Wall Street. And it's kind of sickening the amount of money those people are making. And I was trying to get a handle on how much money does one need. And then you understand that these people don't take a break. Their only thought is to get your money, which according to me is destructive. Right? When the greed becomes such a distortion that it is designed to take money from your pocket and put it in mine in ways that you don't even realize. How does it work even in stock markets? You buy a stock and you sell it. They make a commission on it. But instead of giving back their money, you sell them a new idea. Say, no, this money would be best used in something else. And that's how it builds on itself. So actually, when you're investing with a stockbroker, you never see your money. It's all on paper. You never see it. As soon as you make $4,000, your stockbroker will offer you another option to put it in. So you'll immediately listen to him because that'll give you 40,000. What is it that motivates you there? It's also greed. As long as both of you are making something out of it, it's fine. Guruji says greed is a distortion of love. Underneath all this desire to possess things is a need to be loved. beneath all the negative emotions, lust, greed, arrogance, anger, delusion, is a deep desire to feel that love. It is camouflaged by the world we live in. Right? We are deluded. We call it in Sanskrit, we call this moham. Moham is the biggest delusion of all. Right? It is different from Maya. Okay? Maya is more of an illusion. Moham is a delusion that comes from attachment. So you believe that when you possess certain things, when I get a Barbie doll, I will be happy. When I get an Xbox, I will be happy. When I get become a manager, I will be happy. When I get $1 million in my pocket, I will be happy. Right? And you get that high, that feeling of when you get something, you win a lottery or you get make a great sale. What happens, unfortunately, is instead of taking joy in your success, yes, it's wonderful if you have a great sale and you've made a lot of money. People celebrate their success in ways that don't help them. Like in Wall Street, the man had everything, millions and millions and millions of dollars. He could do anything he wanted. Instead, he went the route of debauchery. That's what destroys a person. That's what destroys a person. How much is enough? When does it become greed? I have written about an incident in my book where a friend of mine, taking advantage of the real estate, instead of buying one apartment, bought 3 dozen apartments. Something crazy like that. Great, made lots of money, when it was a good time. Suddenly everything crashed, right? Or I don't know exactly what happened in the real estate business, but he was stuck with 3 dozen mortgages that he couldn't pay. He couldn't pay. And he was completely finished. Now, had he been satisfied with 2 or 3 and known his limit, he would have been okay. But the depression that followed was overwhelming. So, we teach our children this too, that just eat a little bit. 1 piece of chocolate cake is wonderful. 2 pieces is overdoing it. But eating a whole cake is unnecessary. When you go beyond a limit, then it can only lead to misery. Greed results in misery. No matter what. How much it is this need for experiences. Greed is not just for money. It is this need for experiences,
But how do you differentiate a businessman trying to achieve more? Is that greed or that's for the business he has to achieve
That's
more?
exactly what I'm saying. Is that if a person is focused on his job and is doing something, you'll notice that the businesses that largely succeed are the ones that help people, like railways or like coal mining. Okay. Now, you can call a guy greedy, but what is the level beyond which you call it greed? It's when it results in degradation, when it goes down through vices, when that money is not being spent well, and in spite of all the wealth you've accumulated, you're still unhappy. Then you know that you've just gone above and beyond. Now, these are just labels. It's not a black and white thing. It's a gradient, right? It goes from wanting and desiring all the way to greed. So you have different shades of all this. It's not that I can say that you're a greedy person, you're not a greedy person, you're a greedy person. No. there was a Gallup poll done, and the results were published in the New York Times, and they said that how much money does a person need to be happy, and the number that they arrived at was $50,000. Is it 75? It's one of the two. Doesn't matter. $50,000 or $75,000 for a couple with 2 children to live comfortably. Okay. It's not as if he got 100,000, he was twice as happy. Or if you got 150,000, you're 3 times as happy. There's a certain amount of money that we need to live a decent life, a comfortable life, right? Getting that is often quite effortless, and life has to be effortless, right? It's when you crave and you're feverish about multiplying your money in ways that take you away, and that's what greed does.
I think the difference is when you do something for your own pleasure, just not for selfish reasons. When you do something that benefits everybody,
that makes a big difference. That makes a difference.
Because you can have plenty of money by helping other people also.
Absolutely, you're completely
Apple
right.
or Microsoft or something.
Yeah.
Some great invention.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I said.
On money.
The inventions and the companies that benefited people always do much better than the one that is done for me. I, me, myself. The minute you bring yourself, your needs into it, and you go overboard, then that is greed. Right? And we have to draw our own parameters. Greed is very selfish. It's the same with all the distortions of love. Lust, greed, jealousy. You take any distortion. It's about me. How much can I get? How much can I eat? How much can I own? How much can I experience? Whereas we are talking today in terms of what can I do? I read Khalil Gibran's famous quote that Kennedy made famous. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. I didn't realize it was a Khalil Gibran quote. Even you see every philosopher is talking about how can I contribute? And if entrepreneurship is a means for you to contribute, then by all means, going after money is not a bad thing at all. Abundance is your birthright, and it will come. But to do it, in a spirit of dispassion, vairagya, that is the most important thing. That is the most important. When you get eaten, when it's eating up into you, that's when it becomes totally destructive. And how many of you have read The Secret? I'm enjoying the book thoroughly, and I have to say that we read it and we're using the techniques, but I find that the entire book is all about making money and making, getting money and things. And they've left out one thing, which I think is what is absolutely essential if we are to live life effortlessly. Peace of mind and happiness. That's what our Indian gurus are talking about. They're not selling you, the techniques to make $1 million. They're selling you the techniques to be happy, to live life effortlessly, to develop an art of living so that none of these things go overboard, to understand your limitations and to achieve your maximum potential. That's what we want, right? That's what we want. And greed does destroy you, because I find that even whenever I start a new venture and I make my first $100, I'm already calculating how much I would make in 1 year. You know, the minute I do that and I start thinking like that, the second month itself the venture goes out the window. I find that personally speaking, whatever I do to help others works better for me in my life. Not saying that it works for everybody. If money is what you want, by all means go for it. If experiences are what you want, by all means go for it. If sensory delights, food, chocolates, perfumes is what you want, by all means go for it if that works in your life. But there are limits. If you douse yourself in perfume, you won't be able to smell it. After 5 minutes, after you spray yourself, only for the initial 2-3 seconds you can smell it. After that, you can't. Experiences are like that, you know. They're like that. They stay for a very short time. People don't have a very long-term memory, you know. How many people today talk about all the great wealthy people that have lived in the 12th century? 5,000 years before Christ. Who talks about them? What did they make? What did they achieve? And where did they take it? Where did they take it? You know, I find that to be a very sobering factor. Whenever I feel that I'm greedy for something, greedy is a sense of feverishness. When a desire converts to a obsession, you know, that's when it's real greed. It is sobering to know that one day I'm gone. So is everything I have. Very, very dismal thought, but it's a sobering thought. It keeps things in perspective. And I used to wonder why Guruji would keep saying that. He'd keep saying that. What are you? You're going to be dust. Nothing you say matters. What do you care? And now I understand, you know, the wisdom of that, because in moments when you're especially feverish, right, it helps to understand that we're here to do a job, to follow our path, to find our potential. But that's it. It's really, we're just passing time. Okay. And none of these people that have done, earned so much money or have, been so greedy for all these things are going to be remembered. They may be remembered for a short while. That too will pass. That too will pass. Everything passes. So, I keep telling you this. Do you want this much satisfies you? 3-course meal satisfies you? Or do you need 56 dishes at your table? You have to decide that for yourself and recognize when your thoughts are continually going to something that that you're trying to achieve, and it's taking away your peace of mind. Because beyond and above everything, your only right is to be happy and to be peaceful. That is invaluable. You can't put a dollar amount on that feeling of You cannot. It's a beautiful feeling, and it's good to know about these things and to understand it, but we don't want to judge anybody. We all have different paths. That is theirs, this is yours. We have different faiths, we can belong to different religions, have different gurus, and it's all with everybody else. And the one thing that the whole world is looking for is happiness. That is yours. That is yours. And that makes you wealthier than anything you could ever want in this world. So, keeping that thought in mind, understand others when they are greedy because you know where it's coming from. Recognize the signs in yourself and set limits to what you want. More importantly, just be happy.